Hey guys, welcome to the first DestructoBox behind the scenes video. I'm sitting here with Brian Carney. Say hi, Brian.
Hey, Joey.
We're going to talk about After Effects here today. So, hope you guys enjoyed the Season 2 premiere that took us almost a year and a half to make. We've been working on it since then, so...
Yeah, it's been a while.
You doing all right over there, Brian?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right, Joey. I'm just getting prepared, getting my mind into work mode.
Okay.
I can't be in funny mode for this.
Oh, yeah, because After Effects is open?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's just take a second to go into one of my favorite scenes from the season 2 premiere, and that is the Anka flashback death scene. I think this is my favorite part because I did the bulk of this scene. And then Brian,
of course, it's your favorite part because you worked on it the most.
Yeah, Brian did like these guys, and then I did everything else, which is really great.
It's very small.
Brian, let's talk about your rigs before we get into this thing.
Let's do that.
Why did you set them up like this?
Well, it's set up this way so we can easily swap out assets.
Uh-huh.
So if there's any sort of art changes that happen throughout the series, we can easily swap them out, and it won't affect how our animation controls work.
Uh-huh. Which we do a lot. Like, you'll do animation before I'm even done with artwork.
Yeah.
Most of the time. So what Brian's talking about is he has 3 controllers, one for body, one for face, one for feet. So he actually only animates those 3 points. This one is like for changing positions. You can stop me if I'm wrong. This one is what you do rotation for steps.
Yeah.
And then
the face is just position. I actually do rotation on the body control as well, but it's for more emoting and when they're talking versus when they're moving, stepping left and right, or running. Then I'll use the bottom one.
Gotcha.
For the actual rotations there.
So as you can kind of see here, this controller has not only the face and the glasses, the stubble, this glasses bar, I guess, for lack of a better word, but it also has his hair.
And Joey, you're going off model.
Oh my God, I broke Joey. And then we have that sort of mark at the top, just sort of don't go above that line because it starts to not look like the character anymore.
Yeah.
So pretty neat. Way quicker than what stuff we used to do, which was have keyframes on all of this shit.
Yeah, it was a mess.
It was gross.
It was terrible.
All right, so let's go back to the scene here. So Brian actually did the background work for the Joey, Phil, Julie freak out. Let's actually go a little bit lower here so we can actually scrub through this. So the face files, that includes the eye sync, the blinking, and the actual talking motions of the mouth. That is just straight out of Flash, and I think we use Swifts now instead of QuickTimes like we used to, because that was crashing After Effects all the time. But all those are just imported as their own piece, and then Brian uses the audio from that to sort of do his reactions. I mean, this scene, we didn't really have any sync so much as just their facial expressions freaking out. And I think you used a lot of the like the stills, didn't you, for the...
I think so, that's right. The built-in stills that we have set up for... So, because Phil is the one who does the lip and eye sync work, but then we also have these still set up, so if there's
Phil in
another...
real life, that is.
Yeah.
Phil in real life.
Phil in real life Phil.
So Brian has his backup comps with all the shapes in it in case he needs to do a specific one, and...
Or I need to push something a little more, or change the reaction a little bit. I can
or make it good.
That. Basically, yeah.
Yeah. So when we give you the audio files, it's just sort of like approximated, like the pacing of stuff. So when you actually get it in the sequence, it's probably going to change a little bit. So he has these backup, all the eyes, all the mouths, sort of as, what's the word? Sort of as a emergency use.
I guess.
I don't know, whatever. Fuck it. All right,
backup was fine. I think you were okay using that.
Right. Well, as backup. Shut up. So now that you know that each of these guys has their own sort of internal stuff going on, let's talk about this actual scene here. I'm going to turn everything else off that is environmental effects, and we'll just sort of add it back one piece at a time, and actually have their shadows down here. Whoops. Get rid of this. Fuck you. All right.
But Joey, it's such a handy tool that
no one uses. It is so handy, yeah. So I got shadows behind Joey, Phil, and Julie. You'll notice that everything down in here in our assets window is color coded. That's a Brian special.
Yeah.
The stupid goddamn thing is driving. Fuck you.
Put it at the top.
Okay, we're getting rid of it. All right. So shadows. So now we just have our characters on the Julie living room background, with Brian's character work scaled down to kind of be off to the side. So when Brian was going through the script, he really didn't know what the end result of this was going to be, and that's sort of me not having a plan for it.
Yeah.
So he did this reaction just based on what the scene was, and then we scaled it down to the side, and then I sort of built everything else on top of it, which is a lot of trial and error. Get rid of there. So let's turn this shit back on one at a time, and we can kind of see the scene start to build itself. We got shadows for all three characters that are all parented to Joey, Phil, and Julie's bodies. So those will move as they do. I guess that makes sense. Brian, if anything, like I'm moving this stuff around and talking at the same time, so if I say something that totally doesn't make sense, just let me know.
Don't worry, I will. You're on track right now. You're doing okay.
All right, cool. So this one is probably the biggest wild card in all this. It's an effect that I bought from Video Copilot called Twitch, which has been my best friend for pretty much all of DestructoBox. What Twitch is it allows you to set up like variables or like random occurrences across several different operators. So we got blurring, colors, lights, scale, slide, and time shifts, and you just enable them and then tell how much and how fast you want those things to happen, and then Twitch will automatically just sort of jiggle back and forth on those things and make it look sort of randomized and chaotic. So I actually used Twitch 3 different times in this sequence. For one here, which this will make more sense as we build the scene back up, but I got one that's just sort of flickering with the orange across the background wall, and that's part of the fire reflection that we have later on in the sequence. So we'll talk about that more in a second. We have shadows. Maybe it'd be better to go to the actual objects first. We got Sexy Time Anka, super blurred in the foreground. Ooh. Yeah, which is the actual art from the Das Booty episode.
Sehr gut.
I'll yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Color commentary.
Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And then the boyfriend down at the bottom. And then what we have in these bottom pieces is actually the same copies of Anka and the boyfriend, tinted black and super blurry to cast a shadow across Joey and Phil and Julie. So they're moving at the same time with those guys. And the twitching, again, is just the twitch effect applied for sliding to the Anka and boyfriend shapes to make them look like they're vibrating out of control. And by that, I mean super hot. All right, so let's go. Let's add a couple more things here. We got some fire, which this is just an actual fire element from a pre-made package we have. So that's super blurred out on top of it, and that's what we have the Twitch orange glow on the back wall reacting to. Super hot as well, and that's also parented to the Anka and boyfriend, so to kind of vibrate along with everybody else.
You can see how we're using our very professional backgrounds and post-production and visual effects to create this wonderful, lovely, disgusting sex scene.
This 4-second long, well, you know.
It's beautiful.
Putting it to good use.
It really is.
Putting the dildo sword back in there, I think just emphasizing the professionalness of this whole fucking thing.
Bring that back together. Yeah. Bring that back from what I just said a second ago.
This has its own motion and creepy stuff, so that is sort of in there. You can't even tell, like, after a certain point, it's just a blob of stuff.
I mean, it's all pretty much a blob. You can barely tell it's anything besides... You kind of see it's two things.
Yeah.
But that's what adds to the magic.
Yeah.
Use your imagination.
Twitch brightness down here is flickering the dark and the light. I guess what they're watching or what they're doing. I don't know. I think it makes it creepier when it flashes from dark to brightness. So one more Twitch effect up here, which is giving us our vibration for the whole scene. It's giving it kind of that rumbly, like unsettling
camera shake
yeah thing. Make it looking extra chaotic. Gives Phil more to play with too when he gets into the sound design. We have just a general dark oval shadow that dims the corners. That's a solid layer, and then you just use the circular mask and super fade it out. Puts a really good tone on the scene.
The vignette
vignette, yeah. Same with this one. It's just more specific to the left side. So we got all those, and then the last bit here is just a doubled or a tripled up smoke effect, which is another realistic smoke effect across.
Again, only the best effects.
Only the best effects. So there you have it. That is I can't even count. Well, I suppose it counts for me. 51 layers. And this is, I think, 3.5 seconds of screen time in the show or something like that. Quick. So there you have it. This is what we've been working on for the last year and a half. Just this scene. Everything else, we can kind of take a quick look at the rest of the project here. The way we have it structured, we have a character folder. Everyone has their own folders for rigs, mouths, objects, the sets, shit like that. I actually had to import. I don't know if you knew this. I had to import time battles back in here to copy.
I do that all the time with animation stuff. I have, especially at the beginning, I'll have 4 or 5 episodes in one episode, so I can pull elements from things.
Yeah, I copied all the time battle teleport effects because that's a bunch of Twitch presets too that it took me forever to find. Imported all those back in.
But those presets are so good, Joey.
I know. Well, I mean, I had to copy them back out, so they're awesome. And then let's
pat ourselves on the back a little bit more here for another couple minutes.
Yeah, we're pretty good at this.
We're so good.
Scenes all broken down by their shot. When Phil gets renders, he gets just like Brian will only animate the master shot of the whole short, and then we'll sort of do push-ins and section out different parts of it for Phil to cut with, and then we render all of this. Phil gets everything. And that's what becomes an episode.
We basically edit it like a TV show versus an animated show, which is storyboards are heavily used and money. You animate from that. But our process is backwards for animation, but it works. We get to work.
And the fact that they don't have limbs or anything really doesn't.
That helps.
It doesn't really mean there's a lot that we're wasting animation wise.
Right.
But that's it. That's a quick behind the scenes of After Effects for season 2 beginnings. Hopefully we'll have more episodes quicker than a year and a half from now. But thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to this channel if you want to stay up on the behind the scenes stuff. And listen to our podcasts at tinyurl.com/explosopodcast. Brian, you got anything else?
No, I'm pretty good.
Pretty good?
Pretty good.
Should we go start episode 2, I guess?
I guess probably is a good idea.
Okay.
I mean, we have another year and a half before it's due.
That's true. So. All right. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.
Joey, we already have episode 2.
Shut up, Brian.
Done.
Explosomagico.